For the better part of my career, more than 20 years, I've been a corporate girl in supply chain management and logistics or classical marketing. But come 2020, COVID and the Great Reset, I got an opportunity to work in a non-profit organization which was helping young unemployed people to be able to break out of that trap of unemployment by connecting them with their first employment opportunity, allowing them to build experience, build that reference letter, and then move on to bigger opportunities. My name is Novantu Nkulwana, and in this season of my life, my ambition is to help the emerging social entrepreneur to be able to flatten that learning curve, scale up their projects, and deliver more impact quicker than ever before. Join us on the NPO Bootcamp as we show you how to level up your social enterprise.
So LUSA saw the need to become entrepreneurial. You identified a problem, a systemic problem affecting young people, society, and you came up with a solution to fix, which was called Generation Act.
Yeah.
What other new ideas, new innovations did you bring into what you were doing in the community?
So phase 2 was Junior Community Chest, and then we also have we call it a Great Start program, which is
Great Start.
early childhood development. So we train the teachers on how to help the kids get school ready, how to stimulate them, their fine motor skills, gross motor skills.
So this is for a child between which ages?
I think baby to 6 when they go to school, when they go to grade 1.
So in my mind, this space is less structured than high school, primary school. So how do you get all these stakeholders around the table to talk and decide how we're going to do this?
There's a lot of ECD forums that we work with in the communities, and a lot of the teachers never had informal training. So it's a big need, and they love the training because it's very fun, and they really, for the first time, understand how a little child's brain work, their development, and they can see the impact the program has on the children.
Really?
Yeah. So that is a
So you're talking little babies, little toddlers. So what are the differences that they see once the teachers are trained?
Well, first of all, I think that the kids now have a structured program. They never had a structured program.
So what were they doing?
Well, a lot of times they were playing just, with whatever, sleeping, eating.
But no instruction.
No, there was no program. We also help the teachers to use recyclable material to create all the toys, all the educational equipment they could possibly need.
Like what kind of stuff are we talking?
For instance, checkers bags,
Yes.
plastic.
Yes.
They use that to make skipping ropes. They use dough to make clay. They use tins to make instruments. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that they actually learn how to empower themselves as teachers to empower the kids.
So it's the teacher making this stuff so that she can have a more structured and more value-adding lesson.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And we teach them how to use, egg cartons and stuff to make toys for the kids that they can take home.
That's beautiful. So you connected them through so what did you call it? ECD, the ECD forums. And then the program that you take them through works how, and it takes how long?
It's about 5 full days.
Okay.
And that's with the teachers. And then we also have it's a development program for the principals, but it's how to run your ECD on business principles.
Okay.
How do you keep your books, financial training, governance training, helping them to have contracts with the teachers. How do you make sure that the parents actually pay and contribute? And then the last stage, the third phase, is when we do vegetable gardens.
That is so amazing. Let's go back to the second one, which is about how to get parents to pay and contribute. Is that a struggle?
Yeah.
Because?
Well, a lot of parents are unemployed.
So then, Veronica, if we know there's no income in the home, why would they let it happen?
Well, the thing is, you can either be a victim and sit at home, or you can go out and find a peace job, or you can make your own garden. You can contribute somehow with volunteering your time at the school. You can paint, you can do whatever, but sitting at home and saying, I don't have a job, it's not going to work.
Okay, so this could be quite an interesting conversation between the ECD practitioner and the parent. How does that play out? We call a meeting, what do we do?
I'm sure I've never been in an actual meeting like that.
Yeah, but you offer them training to be able to take care of this problem.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't pay me, then I can't take care of the child. It's a business principle, and now all the other kids have to suffer, and you don't even go out and look for work. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are addicted in Yorby, for instance, and they just have this mentality of, someone has to fix my problems, or someone has to care for the kid, There's no accountability, no responsibility. And the community needs to come together and say, but we're going to hold you accountable. And there's consequences, for doing things that are not within our community value system.
Okay, so it's a 5-day program, all 5 days consecutively.
Yeah.
And then does the ECD practitioner have to pay to attend?
We usually get sponsors. We can offer it to the ECDs if they want to pay. It's compared to any other training program, it's very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we actually do get companies in our area that's willing to pay for this intervention.
And then how often does it happen?
I would say maybe 6 times a year.
Okay, so there's a structure, there's a timetable. If we go on your website, we can see, what is the name of this program?
Great start.
Great start. So if somebody is watching and they're thinking, I'm in the ECD space, some of these things that they're talking about can really help me, they can go to LUSA's website and have a look and see when this program is going to be running.
Yeah.
And then if they're able to fund it themselves, they can sign up.
Yeah.
What if they're not able to fund it themselves, but they're keen?
Well, then we put them on a waiting list,
Okay.
and then we'll see if we are able to get sponsorships.
Yeah, very nice.
So the ECD program really is important, because if you don't stimulate the kids early, they struggle in school, and they always have that catch-up mentality.
Yes. But I always tell myself that, you know what, people are more resilient and capable than we give ourselves credit for. It is possible to catch up, but it's extra time, extra effort, extra everything. So it's better if you get that foundation right, the foundation phase right. But in the absence of that, I choose to do that. It's still possible to catch up.
It is. But you need a support system.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, great. So we've got Great Start for the little ones. We've gone through Generation Ed.
Yeah.
We've gone through not Young Achiever, but it's like the Young Achiever. Junior Community Chest.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
Then we have a program we call Give Yourself a Job.
Mm-hmm.
It's grassroots level. It's really helping people to identify opportunities in the local community, and services or products that they can render to become entrepreneurial. How do you do costing?
Veronica, I'm really getting so excited because you're operating in the VAL.
Yes.
And there's this belief that everything is in Joburg. If you want an opportunity, go to Joburg. And you're dealing with that, say, right here in the VAL, where you might think nothing is happening, you can create something for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, take us through that.
So the Give Yourself a Job project, or training program, is also part of our youth leadership development program. So we have a youth leadership academy.
Okay.
Where we take unemployed youth and we talk to them about identity, purpose in life, who do they want to be, values, and then also give them entrepreneurial skills.
This is a post-matric individual.
Yes.
And where do you find them? Because they're unemployed, you're not going to go to a particular school, so how do you connect with these individuals?
We had one very successful program in Veronica and Niceville where we sometimes we can work through churches.
Okay.
Sometimes we put it up on community notice boards. We use Facebook. We have a lot of youth leaders from previous youth leadership academies that mobilize. The same with our Abigails. The Abigails of 5 years ago still refer new Abigails to our program because they benefited so much. So it's a lot of word of mouth as well.
There's a lot of stuff that you're doing, and I would like you to help me put it in neat little boxes. So you've got programs for early childhood development. You've taken us through Great Start.
Yes.
You've got for primary school and high school.
Yeah.
That's Generation 8 and Junior Community Chest. Then you've got ones for school leavers,
Yeah.
which you're calling Get Yourself a Job.
Yeah.
And then Abigail's, you spoke about them earlier on upfront. Where do they fit in?
It's also entrepreneurial training, but with the Abigails we work with female entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So we also bring in a lot of counseling, coaching, personal development, emotional healing, emotional intelligence. So we bring all of that into it, leadership development. And then we help them to grow their businesses.
So this is specifically for post-mature entrepreneurial people.
Yeah, and as I say, you know, some females, we don't limit the age there. Yeah, so any female can do it.
You know, what you're doing sounds so amazing, but the thing that's making me feel sad right now is that at every stage of intervention, there is so much healing to be done
Yeah.
for the South African.
It is. It's a reality.
What about it in ECD and ECD? Do you find similar issues, similar traumas?
We don't work with the children themselves.
You're training the teacher.
Yeah, we're training the teachers, but the teachers obviously see the neglect.
Yes.
And, you know, something we must also remember is that emotional abuse is just as serious as physical abuse. Because the same part in your brain registers, whether it's emotional or physical, the same part in your brain registers that wound, that trauma. So a lot of kids suffer from emotional abuse as well.
At which
All phases.
what kind of abuse are we seeing that's in the emotional bucket?
Well, you know, when we do, for instance, neurocoaching training, we talk about the power of the word.
Neurocoaching training is what you do with the teachers, and then
Yeah.
and they're the ones that come into our program.
We also, we are accredited with various CETAs and with Comensa Coaching and Mentoring South Africa. So we actually, through our Social Entrepreneurship Institute, we train neurocoaches, NLP coaches, team coaches. So we have different levels of that. But, you know, we always tell people, be careful what you say, especially when you talk to your child, because it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, so if you tell your child, just you're stupid, you know, the child thinks my mother knows best, thinks I'm stupid, so I must be stupid. So it becomes an identity thing, you know, and no one along the road asks them, but is it the truth? Or was she just in a foul mood? So it's becoming reflective, becoming self-aware. Why do I believe the things that I believe about myself, about the world? And then basically become a biographer of your own self-limiting beliefs. And then look at, but maybe she just had a really bad day and she said it, and in that space, in that moment, I choose to believe the lie. But I'm now a grown-up, I can choose a different reality for myself.
I hear you, Veronica, but I think if it was just a once-off thing.
No, unfortunately it's not.
It's not a once-off thing. You're hearing it over and over and over
that's the
again.
abuse.
Yeah. What a pity, man. And then once these young people start to work with you, how long does it take to start thinking that, like, well, hold on. What, yes, she's my mom, but hold on. Like, do I have to believe what she said? Can I create a different paradigm and define myself differently? How long does it take for you to see that light going on in their head that things can be different? I don't have to continue on this path anymore.
Sometimes it's instantaneous because you can see the aha.
Uh-huh.
But now it is work because it takes 40 days for you to build a new neural pathway in your mind.
Uh-huh.
So you can get it, but to change it isn't always that easy.
Mhm.
It is a constant, you have to set an intention to think different about yourself and about the world, and we give people tools and techniques on how to do that. But
some of the really wow tools that we deploy.
affirmations, for instance,
Positive affirmations.
positive affirmations.
I need to get hold of my son. I've got a 16, well, he's going to be 16, and when I do positive affirmations, he's like, "Mom, please, that is so dumb. What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's not done. You see what happens? We've got a part in our brain that's called the reticular activation system. And
Yes.
that part in our brain, it doesn't distinguish between wrong and right, good or bad, evil or it just the sole purpose of that is to fulfill your intentions, the goals you set for yourself.
Mhm.
So if I tell you I can't find my pen, my pen is gone. I simply can't find it. My brain makes that a reality. Now when I say, help me find my pen, I'm looking for my pen, it must be here somewhere. I find my pen.
This can sound a little bit woo. This is like legit and it's based on science.
It is based on science because the reticular activation part of your brain listens to your words. And the goal is if you say, I don't want this, it's going to happen. That's why Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
You're right.
But it becomes so practical and tangible. And then when we realize this, we think before we speak.
Yeah.
Because what do you speak over your children?
Yes. Wonderful. So these are some of the tools that we give to people to help them reprogram those
Their
limiting
minds.
beliefs that
Yeah.
and that, okay, wonderful. This was under the entrepreneur
We
the
do them
institute.
on our courses.
You said these courses fall under what institute?
The LUSA Social Entrepreneurship Institute.
Entrepreneurship Institute. Great. What else have you got? You've spoken about training programs for ECD for young kids in high school. You've spoken about the go get yourself a job. Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Did we fully go into the details of how that get yourself a job works?
Not in all the details,
Mhm.
but it's basically the basic principles of identifying a gap in the market,
Mhm.
then engineering a product or a service, then marketing yourself, doing costing, and then selling the product and making it happen.
How do we do that primary phase of identifying the need in the community?
That's what we do in junior community chest as well. We already tell them, okay, so identify a gap. What's the opportunity?
Mhm.
And even when we're experiencing challenges, within that challenge, there's a gift, there's an opportunity. So that is how you foster a growth mindset. So you help people to see the bigger picture. It's no youth just seeing the ear, but you're missing the elephant. So we want people to, look at a thing from all angles and say, but what are the opportunities in this challenge? In neurocoaching, we don't talk about problems. Problems is a negative thing. You rather talk about a challenge because if it's a challenge, you can overcome it.
Wonderful. Okay, so this is the Get Yourself a Job program.
Yeah.
And it runs for how long?
I think it's about 4 days.
Okay, so it's quick. It's not a long,
No,
drawn-out
no.
intervention. And you come out there and you can already make things happen.
Yeah.
You hit the ground running and you go.
Yeah.
What have been some of the biggest successes that have come out of this one?
The one I enjoy most talking about is a lady. She was also one of our peer facilitators in Generation Act in the Meyersden area.
Nice.
What she did was she was good at dressing people.
Uh-huh.
So she would dress the church choirs,
Okay.
and design their outfits because it's a big thing, the choir competitions.
Absolutely.
And then after she did Give Yourself a Job, that became a big source of income. Churches paid it.
Like she can sustain herself now.
Yeah.
What a beautiful story. She's still doing it now.
I haven't spoken to her in a couple of years, but I hope so.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure it probably have expanded, but I still have the details somewhere.
Wonderful. Let's talk about the Abigails. You've been teasing us and giving us hints about this Abigail program. Just take us through the structure. Who's the ideal person to go through it, and how long it takes to work through the program.
Yeah, so you must be active in the economy.
Mhm.
But you don't necessarily have to have a registered business. We help you to register your business in the program.
Okay. But I must be active, I must be trying to sell something, I must be busy with something.
Yeah,
I mustn't be the one that's wallowing in self-pity.
No.
Then you're not going to let me join.
You're not going to become an entrepreneur with a fixed mindset. Never.
So one of the entry criteria is my mindset.
Yeah.
That I'm already trying to solve something. I might not have all the answers, but I'm busy with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it can be, a lot of our other girls have nails, doing hair, catering. I mean, it's mind-blowing to see how people are trying to make a living. So what we basically do then is to help them bring structure, get them registered, helping them to get a bank account, because sometimes they live from cash and they put it under the pillow or under the bed. So you can't apply for a loan or anything because there's no track record with you. So we teach them all these skills. We teach them how to do proper costing, because if you bake a hamburger, did you cost the margarine? Did you cost the lettuce? No, they don't even think about it.
Mm.
And then we say, but you're thinking you're making a profit, but actually you're breaking even, or even you are paying other people to eat your hand.
Mm.
Because they will look at what the neighbor is doing and then just ask some less. But they don't do the cost.
Yeah. Because they didn't know how to.
Yeah.
And now you show them how.
We show them it's very, very practical, but we also, it can be someone that has been in business for 30 years and they will learn something. So,
and maybe they've been making losses or maybe not optimizing their pricing for all this time.
Yeah. And people live out of the draw. They don't bank it, it's really you.
Why are we not banking? Do we not know about banking products? Are we suspicious or skeptical about banking products? What's the
I
problem?
think it's the discipline problem.
Okay.
I think it's mostly a discipline problem. But each person will have his own reasons.
Yeah.
But the Abigails, and then we also, as I say, we do a lot of personal development. We build emotional intelligence, physical intelligence. Physical intelligence is actually how do you manage your resources? Can you work with money? Can you save? Can you look after your body? Are you eating nutritious meals? Do you rest enough? Do you drink water? It's about how do you manage your time? That is a big thing, is people don't manage their time right.
How long is this program?
It's usually over a 9-month period.
Okay, so it's quite long.
But it's not full time.
Yeah.
It's like 1 week
Uh-huh.
every month or 9 months, thereabouts. It depends.
1 week, so it's like blocks of a week.
Yes.
Okay, so for 1 week, I'm immersed in this. It's a classroom style or that kind of thing. Wonderful. Okay, so what are the biggest ahas that you see in these ladies that are on the Abigail program?
I think the first thing is understanding how they self-sabotage.
I didn't know that self-sabotage was a thing until
It's a major.
okay, so help us understand what that is.
So it's a mindset that works against you. It's limiting beliefs. It's decisions you've made in your life. It's completing commitments that in your subconscious mind are literally sabotaging your success, your future, stealing your joy. Because when we were younger, stuff happens to us and we get hurt. Let me give you an example. You get an award for being the best student. Okay, and you're at the prize giving and everybody gives you certificates and make a rule of you, and you go outside and your best friend tells you, so do you think you're better than me?
And I think we all know that girl, right? Okay, it's not always a girl, but yes, we know her.
So you immediately feel, oh, that hurts. I don't think I'm better than you. Okay, and then you don't want to feel that pain again. So now you, on a subconscious level, don't want to be the one getting all the shine and the glory. So I will say it's like fleas in a bottle. You put fleas in a bottle and they jump out. But if you put a lid on, the fleas bump their little heads and they get a migraine. And they say, this is painful. So they jump lower. Oh, this is much better. Now you take off the lid. Do the fleas either jump out again? and we do the same. We start limiting ourselves, we start dimming our light because we don't want to be perceived as being better than whatever, being criticized.
Yeah.
And we're not aware of it because our brain is actually trying to protect us from an emotional hurt.
And I thought what you said earlier on about how the brain registers emotional hurt and physical hurt is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Somebody must tell the brain that it's not.
It is. I've experienced an emotional pain where someone once said something to me. It was so intense. I would have rather let him.
Really?
It's and a true emotional pain I think lasts way longer than a club.
I never thought of it like that.
You carry it with you.
So these are some of the things that you awaken in the Abigails. And tell us, Abigail, how did you come up with this name? Does it mean something?
Of course, every name means something. So when we started with the program, I was looking for a name. And one night I was reading the Bible, and it was about Abigail in the Old Testament, where David wanted food from her husband because he was a protector of the shepherds. And her husband said, "No, who do you think you are?" And I mean, everybody knew he was going to become the king. And David got so mad, he wanted to go sort him out. And the shepherds came to Abigail and they said, "You know what your husband did? He offended David, and David is on his way. He's going to come and he's going to destroy us. He's So she made a plan, very entrepreneurial and wise woman, and she started putting all this food and gifts on the donkeys and horses, and she went and met David. And she said, fell before him on her knees, and she said, "Please don't kill us because my husband is a fool." And when I read that, I realized a lot of times females have to, unfortunately, not always, you get great men out there, but unfortunately a lot of men are very selfish, and a lot of the money go to alcohol. So we're trying to teach the women not to be subordinate, to be bossy or whatever, but just to take responsibility for them and their kids, and to be responsible and to say, but how can I, within this difficult situation, provide, do the best I can to come up with business ideas to bring in money into the house, because unfortunately we are suffering.
How many Abigails have you worked with over the years?
Sure, I would say about at least over 300.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, but not nearly as much as we like to work.
And the reason that you haven't been able to reach more is because
Everything we do is dependent on sponsorships.
okay.
We are a non-profit.
So Abigail doesn't pay to come onto the program.
No, we do it.
There's a corporate sponsor
Yes.
that enables the course to happen.
Yeah.
Then you find the Abigail to sit in a classroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then previous Abigails become like mentors and coaches and support for the new Abigails.
So how much does it cost to run the Abigail program?
For the whole 9 program to train about 20 women, I think would be about 70,000.
Per person or for the whole cohort?
No, for the
For everyone?
I'm now, you're putting me on the spot.
Askies.
It might be 100, but it's not more than 100.
Okay, but in elk geval dis nie baie geld nie.
Yeah.
Okay.
To change 20 women's lives. And the thing is, they employ more people.
Yes, yes. So because it's a 9-month-long program, are you running it once a year? Or can you have multiple intakes?
We can have multiple intakes.
Okay, so we're in March now. How is it looking for the Abigails? Do we have a program that started?
We don't have one at the moment, but we are going to start in May
Is it?
with a cohort, and we're looking at 30 women.
Okay, so you found the women. Have you found the corporate sponsor to make this happen?
A partial sponsor.
Partial. So
Yes.
it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So as we close on the Abigail program, please just share with us some of the biggest transformations that you've seen when ladies have come out of this.
We have a
Are we going to be here forever?
We actually post success stories of all the Abigails
Where? On your website?
on our website.
Okay.
So I would suggest that people go and read it.
Mhm.
But we have amazing stories, and a lot of the females that are doing catering have expanded, their businesses. We had a lady that did, she had a wishy-washy laundromat. We've had some.
Share a lot. Where? Are we talking Gussie environment? Where are these Abigails? In the township?
They're all over.
Okay.
But a lot of them are, the last group mostly came from Sebokeng.
Sebokeng is a township. Okay, great.
But, and then we have a lady, the last group was a lady that does cushions.
Uh-huh.
And we managed to get a contract now with a local company that is using her to do the interior designing and stuff.
Wow, that is such a sexy story. Okay, so you're telling me about ladies that are able to expand their operations, catering, doing stuff that they're already doing in an environment where the economy is going backwards, when we've got load shedding, so nothing in their external environment has changed.
No.
The change has been inside.
Yeah, definitely.
That is powerful. That is awesome. Great. Now, my next question will be, do we have an equivalent for the men's?
We do. We just call it enterprise development.
Wonderful. So let's come back to that one after the break.
Okay.
Hope so.